Hey there, my name is John Siskovich, and welcome to another episode of the Growing Farms podcast. Here, both on all of the podcatching devices and apps and things, but also some of these episodes are finding their way onto my YouTube channel. Now, this is part of the Ask a Farmer series where I did a couple dozen interviews with farmers at the American Pastured Poultry Producers Association annual conference, and I got their perspective on what is it actually like to be a farmer, what are some of the overarching thoughts and sentiments, things that we all would need to know. And I'm here with Kajsa Keane today. She's a farmer down in Texas, and jumping right in, I want to know, Kajsa, what is one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you were starting out?
My name is Kajsa Keane. I run Keane Acres in Ladonia, Texas. Budgeting. Taking better control of my budget from start to finish. I'm realizing coming here how crucial it really is to budget and get that stuff locked down and know what you're really spending.
Budgeting is super important, and thank you, Kajsa, for bringing that up. It is wonderful, and it's something that we all struggle with. It's all something that we should be doing, and we all do maybe once a year and then don't check back in on as the year goes on, which is a big mistake. Now, breaking down budgets really quick, we're going to do a quick overview here before we jump into the next question, but what is the purpose of budgets? Why are they beneficial? Starting out with some kind of roadmap and benchmark to measure your progress along the way is what a budget is going to give you. You sit down in the winter, either it's before you ever start a farm, before you start your farm season, or even during the farm season. It's never too late to start a budget. You don't have to start from January to December. Start on the month you're in right now and do a month-to-month budget and see how profitable am I at this month. What is that going to be like next month? For farming, things are very seasonal, so it is going to change over time. So that those numbers, you push your costs, your expenses, your income out over a 12-month period. But we all here at the brewery, month to month, we have our month-to-month budget, and then we have our annual budgets that we work out. All of those things give us a benchmark, give us an idea of what we can invest going forward, what we should be saving, and what we're doing, if we're doing a good job or a bad job, and it just kind of establishes a baseline. Now, if you've never made a budget before, put in placeholder numbers, figure if you can get $6 a pound for chicken or $4 a pound for chicken, and your average chicken is this size and you're going to raise this many chickens, have that budgeted out in a way that makes sense to you. I like using electronic spreadsheets like Excel, or we use Google Drive here. But you can do it in a notebook and say, this is what I expect to make this year. So at the end of the year, after you've worked so hard, after you've spent the time in the sun, after you've watered the birds, fed the birds, processed the birds, sold the birds, you know how far off you were from your initial projections. Now, you should know what month-to-month your living expenses are, how much your rent or your mortgage is, how much you spend on food, gas, utilities, car payments, student loans, clothing, entertainment, whatever. Break that down, and you can find out how much money it costs you to live. Okay, that's something you can do without a farm. Anybody can do that. There's tons of budgeting softwares and plans and things out there. Find out what you need on a month-to-month basis to live, and that will help you on your how to start a farm journey when you are, say, how big do I need to grow my farm to replace my income now and make it so that I can afford all the expenses I have on a regular basis. That's really important, and those numbers, those data-driven decisions are going to be what you live and die on when it comes to the success and failure of your business. Larger businesses do it. You can hire a CPA, you can hire a bookkeeper, you can have one of your family members do it. You can do it yourself. I do all my own books for Farm Marketing Solutions, and then I hire a CPA to clean everything up and help me with my taxes. We have very talented people on staff here with the Farm Brewery, and it's one of those things that if you're not in charge of your numbers, how do you know what you're doing is the right thing or not? If you're spending the equal parts time on two different farming operations, but one is costing you money and one is making you money, and you enjoy them both equally, maybe it's time to turn down the one that's costing you money and turn up the one that is making you money, and that you can do that if you have numbers to back up that decision, data-driven decision making. So, getting out of budgets before I lose too much of the audience in this episode, I want to know from Kajsa, what is one of the most enjoyable aspects about being a farmer, in your opinion?
Just purely being around the animals. I'm an animal person. Going onto the farm and doing my chores and feeding my animals is my peace. And so, you never work another day in your life if you do what you love. And so going out to them, talking to them, I think they talk back to me, but they bring me peace and make my day awesome.
Now, I couldn't agree more with Kajsa here of one of the most enjoyable aspects being going out and working with your livestock. It's when I started this journey, I thought I was going to be an heirloom vegetable farmer, and I was going to grow all kind of heirloom vegetables and save seeds and do all this stuff. And it turns out I don't have that green of a thumb. I can grow food if I need to, and we have seeds started in my kitchen right now. But the thing that I enjoy the most is watching livestock interact with the world and all of that different animal behavior, animal behavioral psychology, digging in. I've read a ton of Temple Grandin and a whole bunch of other books, movies, whatever. I've done a lot of research on how animals' brains work, and it's just fun to see that tangibly work out in person as your goats, your chickens, your pigs, your horse, your whatever, just interacts with the world and interacts with you, and it's just fantastic. At the end of the day, like, there is nothing more enjoyable. And that's part of the reason why I started a YouTube channel and have all this stuff, is that I go out and sit with my chickens and I take photos of them doing what chickens do: scratching, pecking, eating grass, laying down, making a dust bath, whatever it is. It's something that I pull out of their existence that betters and makes more fulfilling my existence. And I couldn't agree with Kajsa more that is just pure joy. And no matter what type of farming you're into or what operations you run, having a cup of coffee, a glass of wine, a glass of water, a glass of beer, something at the end of the day, beginning of the day, end of the day, hopefully coffee at the beginning of the day, something else at the end of the day, where you sit, relax, enjoy. You're supposed to love doing this. If you don't love doing it, why are you doing it? It's very difficult. But it's difficult but worthwhile if you love the fact that you are out there, you're observing, you're taking that time. Troy Bishop, the grass whisperer, calls it linger grazing, where you move the cows and you've done all the work, and instead of rushing off to the next task, say that 10 times fast, you sit and you linger for a second. You do this. Troy always does this. He crosses his arms on his stomach and he goes, and you watch the cows eat. How do they move? How do the calves and the mother cows interact? How do your cows interact with the fencing and the infrastructure that you set up? Is that water level too low? Is the water leaking? Is there something good or bad about what you're doing, and how can you replicate it or fix it going forward? That is some of the observation is some of the most important part of farming. And because we get so busy and we feel so stressed and pressed for time, we often overlook it. So our mission for this year, especially as the world is slowing down a little bit, take a little extra time with your livestock, learn to love it and enjoy it, keep your eyes open, and bring a notepad. Take pictures, take a little video, share some of those pictures online, do a little farm marketing. And speaking of marketing, we're going to go and ask Kajsa, what is one of your biggest marketing successes, and what is one of your biggest challenges for marketing your farm?
I haven't had many, but the ones that I have had is just my ability to talk about my product and how excited I am about my animals, and the end product gets other people excited about the end product and wanting to try it, taste it, and even come to the farm and check it out. Being organized. I'm not. And so I think I get under the classic analysis paralysis. I'm not sure where to focus right away, and especially in my area, I'm not sure where to focus. And so I get so many things coming in as what I should be doing instead of focusing on what actually is going to work. And so I think I'm an inch deep and a mile wide right now and not getting the results I want.
There are some interviews that I did that the one question played into the other beautifully, and Kajsa was one of them, where I asked these questions, they dovetailed into each other really well. Hadn't spent a lot of time in front of the camera before, but just freaking nailed it. And so marketing success, when you love what you do and you get some of that from spending time with your animals, learning how they interact, what makes a chicken tick, what makes a chicken happy, we focus our production methods on what makes chickens happy and healthy. That's why we raise them out on grass in mobile shelters where they're able to move, get off their manure, get onto fresh grass, fresh bugs. They're interacting with their environment in a more natural way. They're healthier, more delicious. And then we see those little things like a chicken. You notice that they always have their head cocked to one side. That's because a chicken is nearsighted in one eye and farsighted in the other. So it's looking for food on the ground with one eye and looking for predators up in the sky with the other. And you notice these little things like a chicken will scratch on the ground and then back up and look. It's not looking and scratching intentionally. It's scratching and then backing up and looking. And these little things, these little anecdotes that you can share with your customers, doesn't have to be about your nutrition or the nutritional quality of your birds. They're getting your story. They're feeling your passion. They can see how much you care about what you do and the pride that you take in your raising of livestock, vegetables, honeybees, whatever. And that is infectious. That's going to get people involved, love what you do. They're going to want updates and stories from the farm. It's those moments that you're lingering and watching all this happen that you can shoot some video and share it on Instagram, shoot a photo, share it up on social media. So that is just a great tip, that your marketing success is how much you love what you do. If you're grumpy and you hate it, then that's not going to resonate with people really well. But if you're infectious about how much you love and how passionate you are about what you do, that is going to help your sales in ways that it's hard to teach people that. Coming from a guy who's trying to teach people farm marketing by way of interesting stories. But man, she nailed it. Thank you, Kajsa. And then one of the challenges being organized. I love the phrase being a mile wide and an inch deep. Or I reversed it, inch deep and a mile wide, where there's so much information and there's so many marketing gurus telling you got to do this and you'll fail without that, and you got to do Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and this advertising and that advertising. You got to go out here, you got to go out there. What works for you? What scale do you need to be at to make your farm successful? Are you going to have it as a hobby? Are you going to have it as a side operation? Is it going to be kind of the main show, part of your farm? How much volume do you have to move? And then how do you reach those customers? Learning about how your customers buy the products, where they are, and then be on those platforms. And don't stress yourself out about being everywhere all at once. Marketing isn't casting a huge wide net. Marketing works the best when it's super targeted. And when you're super targeted in your marketing and you learn who is buying your product, who you want to buy your product, you're going to learn where they hang out, where they have conversation, where they go on social media, what social media platforms they go on, and you'll be able to tailor your marketing to that person. Don't try to hit everybody. Try to hit exactly who you want to be selling farm products to. And then the other piece of advice would be have a good home base. You know, you spend a lot of energy nurturing your fields and your pasture and the soils and raising animals. Your home base, as much as your farm is your farm website. And your farm website should have information. Put your friggin' name on it with your picture and some backstory on who you are and why you farm the way you farm. Tell your story. Work with a professional writer if you're not comfortable doing all this. Where can people buy your product? When are you available for them to buy product? Are you doing online sales? Are you doing curbside pickup now? Are you doing farmers markets? Or do you have wholesale accounts where you're selling to grocery stores? Where are you selling that product? Let people know. Don't focus just on the fact that they're eating grass and that it's pasture poultry. That is a huge benefit. But one of the things that's going to sell you, and Mark Metzer talked about this in his podcast interview that I did, I've heard it from other people as well, that telling your story, it's not just the nutritional content of what we do, the taste, the flavor, how wonderful it is. It's you and your story, getting comfortable with talking about yourself a little bit and why you farm the way you do, how much you love spending time with your livestock out in the field and lingering. That is going to be what gives you a leg up on your marketing. And hopefully for Kajsa, now that if you're watching this, that gives you a little bit more direction. So other places you can go for advice is the APA website and forum, becoming a member. My only relationship with APA, and the reason why I'm doing this series, is that I am a paying member, a paying subscriber, I get so much out of that community, that group of people. Then there's so much information for me to digest that I would like to spit some of it back out and share it with my audience because I derive so much value. I want to spread that forward. I don't get any incentives or affiliate links from sending people there, but I am going to ask Kajsa right now, what is one of the benefits of being a member during the year, and what is one of the benefits of going to the annual conference, whatever shape that might take in the future of COVID life? And take it away.
The APA during the year is the resources that are available. Going onto the website and getting your questions answered, and if you have a question, there may have been an article or a write-up about it, and so it's almost quicker than Google if that's even possible. So it's so directed to what we go through and what questions we have or issues we're having that it's just a one-stop shop, and I love it.
And Kajsa, what about the conference? What is some of the benefits of coming to this annual conference?
Networking. I've met so many people here that started where I am and are doing awesome things, or people that haven't quite started yet. But we're making connections, we're talking about what we're doing, and from that, we're able to do what we do on our farms better because somebody might have a better idea, a better supplier, some better prices, some workarounds that make all the difference in your business once you take all the information home.
I love that Kajsa said that at times it's quicker than Google, because Google will give you mixed results, and there's a lot of people trying to game the Google system and be the top result for some pastured poultry question, and it may not be a professional. It may be a homesteader who tried something once, who has a professional or a good homesteading blog that's doing well in the search, but their information might also be trash because it's not based off of anything, or it's based off of the 15 chickens that they run every year, versus APA, which is a collection of professionals who run up to 350,000 birds a year, anywhere from 100 or 0 to 100 or 100 to 100,000 a year. You have a wealth of knowledge, and there are past publications and listserv that has just tons of things, anything you could possibly want to know about pastured poultry. Either there's an article already written about it, like Kajsa said, or somebody has updated information and they're happy and willing to share about it. The whole kind of heart of the organization is to break down barriers and make it easier to enter in. We want more people, not just to be part of APA, but more people to be raising poultry on grass because it is healthier, it's better for the birds, it's better for the people, and it's better for the planet. Now, if you are in Texas and you want to buy some high-quality pastured poultry, you can go to KeaneAcres.com, Keane, and I will have that link in the show notes or below this video, because Kajsa is amazing, and I would like for you guys to be like, oh, I heard about you on Johnson Scovich's Thingamadoo, and I just want to buy some stuff from you. If you are trying to find some pastured poultry, some food near you, and most of the people who are part of this organization also raise other livestock or other agricultural products, you can just head on over to appa.org, APPPA.org, and you can find a farmer in your area. There is a Find a Farmer section of that website, where you can search your state and find somebody who is producing something that is nutritious, delicious, and raised on grass in your area. Now, because I am self-made here on Farm Marketing Solutions, I am the only sponsor. I don't get any affiliate stuff from the links I just gave you, but if you want to support me, you can head on over to farmmarketingsolutions.com. Watch a video, watch a podcast, subscribe, comment, do all the things that internet people ask you to do. But if you want to buy yourself something nice from my web store, I do earn a little bit of money from that, which is nice. And if nothing else, tell a friend that you were listening to a podcast about chickens and it made sense to you and they should listen to. Thanks for taking the time to tune in, and until next time, I will see you out in the field.